Hello everybody, welcome to yet another session of engineering mechanics subject. Currently we are dealing with the chapter of centroids. So in the earlier session we have seen what is center of gravity, what is centroid. The center of gravity can be defined as the point through which the resultant of all weights passes, and centroid can be defined as the point through which all the areas are assumed to be concentrated. That is, the resultant of all areas is passing through that particular point. For any orientation of that point, the centroid or center of gravity will be same. That is, in any orientation, the centroid will be at the same point, whether you turn it along that plane in any direction, the centroid or center of gravity will be same. The center of gravity is a concept which deals with weights or masses, but centroid is a concept which deals with plane figures, that is, which does not have the third dimension, that is the z axis. So here we find the center of action of all forces, or we say areas through which they pass. That point is called the centroid. Here in the earlier class we have seen that all weights W1, W2, W3 are acting and the resultant is acting. So we use, for finding the centroid, the main support is from the principle of moments, or Verinon's principle, which says that the sum of the moments produced by the individual forces or weights is equal to the sum the moment produced by the resultant of those forces. That is, at some distance, if we take the moments of each weight or force, they are synonymously used, because weight is another form of force. That is, weight is mass into gravity, that is mass into acceleration, so it is also a force. Therefore, the center of gravity is the forces into distance between some datum, that is some axis. So for demonstrating that, we have taken this y-axis. This is y-axis. So these weights are acting along the y-axis. So the perpendicular distance will be the x distance. Therefore, w1 into x1 plus w2 into x2 plus w3 x3 etc into the resultant. If resultant weight is w, the total weight of that body, then w into d will give you the sum of the moments of w1 d1 plus w2 d2 up to w8 d8. Therefore, we can say d is equal to w1 d1, w2 d2, w8 d8 by w, or in another words we can say sigma w1 d1 by d, that is by total weight w. So we have seen some, to demonstrate the theory of principle of moments, we have seen a brick analogy, that is three different bricks having their of uniformly distributed load, that is they are of uniform size, uniform shape. So their three different bricks are taken, their center of gravity is at the middle, because it is UDL, the center of gravity will be at the center. So we have taken 100 into 0.5, 100 into 1.5 and 100 into 2.5 as moments at this y-axis. Then we got moment as 450 Newton meters. And if we consider that brick is a single brick, those three bricks are made into a single brick of 300 newtons and of 3 meters, then the moment will be 300 into 1.5, 450 kilonewton. Thereby we are demonstrating that the moment due to individual bricks is equal to the moment due to the whole brick or a single brick made of those three individual pieces, or vice versa we can say the moment produced by a single 3 meters and 30 kilonewton brick is equal to the moment produced by 1 meter 10 kilonewton brick. So this is how we can use our Verinon's theorem for finding the moments. So this principle we use for finding the centroids. Since we have found the center of gravity with respect to weights, since weight is unit weight into volume, that is unit weight is equal to weight by volume, therefore we can use, instead of weight we can use unit weight into volume. So unit weight into volume if we replace, then in this equation we will get, instead of W we will get gamma into V. So therefore the equation becomes Vd, that is gamma Vd is equal to gamma V1 D1 so on. Instead of weights we have replaced with unit weight into distance. Then since unit weight is constant, that is the same material, for the same material weight will be same, therefore the unit weight gets cancelled, so we will be left with volume into distance. Volume into distances, so total volume into the centroidal distance is equal to volume of individual forces into distances, the distances from the, that is their moment centers. So again, if the thickness is constant, then thickness volume we can write is as area into thickness. So thickness gets cancelled, therefore we will be left with area into distance. Total area into centroidal distance is equal to individual areas into distances of their centroid. Therefore we can conclude that D is equal to A1 D1 A2 D2 up to A8 D8 by 8, that is sigma AD by sigma A. Suppose that D is in x direction, then we will say instead of D we say the distance is x, that is x1 x2 x3. Therefore the equation can be written as x, the centroidal distance is equal to A1 x1 plus A2 x2 plus A3 x3 so on by total area, that is we can say sigma AX by sigma A, that is centroidal distance x is equal to sigma AX by sigma A, y is equal to sigma AY by sigma A, that is total moment of areas A into y, that is area into distance, we call it as moment of area. If a force into distance we have called earlier as moment of forces, there we said moment of force, that is force into distance. Here we are calling it as moment of area, area into distance, that is we call it as moment of, or first moment of area. Generally in the next chapter we will come across the second moment of area. So here we simply call it as moment of area or first moment of area, that is area into distance. I think you are clear. Force into distance is moment of force. Here area into distance is moment of area. Therefore x, the centroidal distance, the point where which the entire area is assumed to be acting, is if you take some axis, some arbitrary line, from that line the distance, if the distance of its centroid is x, that is unknown, the centroidal distance x will be equal to sigma ax, the total moment of areas of individual parts, by sigma a, the total area of the body. Similarly, if we want to find y bar or capital Y, we say sigma ay by sigma a, that is total area in moment of areas of individual particles by total area. That is, if A1, A2, A3 are the areas, then A1, Y1 plus A2, Y2 plus A3, Y3, so on up to AN, Yn by total area is sigma An, that is total A1 plus A2 plus A3 plus up to An, that is total each area of individual particle. If individual part or component, if we join them together, we'll get a full area A. That is why we say sigma Ay by sigma A. This is the standard formula for our finding the centroidal distances. That is x is equal to sigma Ay by sigma A. Sigma A is the total area. Sigma Ay is area, moment of areas of individual parts. So let us derive an equation to find the centroidal distance of a rectangular body. We know rectangle is symmetrical. So therefore, in x direction, the weight or center should be at the axis of symmetry, and also in the y direction, the axis of symmetry should divide the body into two equal halves. Therefore, by common sense, we know that this centroid of this rectangular body is along its middle, the lines which are bisecting them. That is the idea. So if it is B and D are the dimensions. B in x directions means in x direction the centroid will be b by 2. In y direction it will be d by 2. We know it, but we will try to prove how it is done. So we use the mathematical solution for finding the centroids. Let us consider this plate of breadth B and depth D, that is height is D and width is B. That is, let us suppose it is on x-axis. That is, now let us consider a small elemental strip parallel to x-axis. So at a distance of y, let us consider any elemental strip at a distance of y. The thickness of elemental strip is dy. Therefore, the area of this elemental strip is, since it is rectangular, since it is the base is b and width is y dy, the area will be b into dy. Therefore, moment of area of this strip. So moment of area is area into the distance. We are taking x-axis as the datum or the reference. Then this dy into y, dy into b is the area, y is the center, the distance of that elemental strip. Therefore, the area of the strip is b into dy into y is the distance. So we got the moment area of the strip is equal to by into dy. That is area into distance. Y is the distance, b dy is the area. Instead of writing b into dy into y, we say b into y dy. So that is one elemental strip. If we join all elemental strips, it will be the sum of the elemental strips. That is sum of the elemental such strips at distances y, which is the y which extends from 0, from x-axis 0 to the topmost point D. It is, the height is from 0 to D. If we start from x-axis, the y is a variable which can be from 0 to D anywhere. Therefore, we can say if area of one strip is b dy, the distance is y, a variable. So if we join such strip, we get total moment of area of that plate, that area. that rectangular area is sigma by dy. That is by dy is one strip. Therefore, sigma is number of such strips which make the entire area. So we say it is sigma by dy. We know that sigma is summation is integration. So by doing the integration by into dy, we have to do the integration because we are integrating, we are summing the all parts. Therefore, integration, the integration limits are 0 to d. The y limits, y can extend from 0 to d at any place. Y is a variable. Therefore, we know if b is the constant, that is the if breadth is constant, y is only variable here. B we have taken out b into integral of y dy. We know integration of y is y square by 2. Y square by 2. Since the limits are 0 to d, we have replaced y with d. That is why we got bd square by 2. So moment of entire this plate due to parts is equal to bd square by 2. Similarly, if we consider some y, we do not know what is the distance of centroidal distance. So the area of the plate is bd, we know. So bd into y, that area into y, bd into y will give the moment of entire plate. We know by Vergnon's theorem, the moment due to entire area is equal to moment due to individual parts. That is why equation 1 and 2 will be same. Therefore, equating 1 and 2, bd into y should be equal to bd square by 2. Therefore, y is equal to d by 2. That is the distance of centroidal from the centroid is from the x-axis is at a height of d by 2. That is the capital Y, the centroid in y direction is at d by 2, half of the height or half of the d depth. Similarly, because centroidal point is on a plane, it has to have x and y. We have found out that y is equal to d by 2. The similar process, if we consider a strip parallel to y-axis, then the distance of this strip will be at a distance of x from y-axis. This is y-axis. So the area will be equal to d into dx. D is the length and dx is the width. So if we take a elemental strip, the area of the elemental strip will be d into dx at a distance of x. Therefore, the moment of area of this elemental strip will be d into dx into x. That is why we have got area is d into dx, moment is d into dx into x or dx dx. Similarly, for entire plate will be the moment is equal to sigma dx, sigma d into dx. That is sigma dx into, that is d into x into dx. Therefore, if we take out this d, the depth, then we will be left out with x dx. Integration of x dx is x square by 2. Since limits are from 0 to b, x is replaced by 0 and b. Therefore, the moment of area will be db square by 2. So entire moment of that, those small components will be equal to db square by 2. But we know this plate, if we take this entire plate, this area is bd into some unknown distance x. So moment of area of entire plate is, sorry, a into x, that is bd into x. Therefore, equating 1 and 2, we get bd into x is equal to db square by 2. Therefore, x will be equal to b by 2. That is, x will be equal to half of the height. So therefore, the center of gravity will be of a rectangle will be at b by 2 and d by 2. Therefore, the center of gravity is b by 2 from y axis and d by 2 from x axis. The distance, y distance is d by 2, x distance is b by 2. Therefore, we can say the centroid lies at b by 2 and d by 2. That half of the width and half of the depth. That is the centroidal distance of a rectangle. Now, similarly, we can also derive for the centroidal distance of a triangle. Here, if we look at a triangle whose height is h and b is its base. So let us take some elemental strip whose depth is dy and width is proportional to b at a distance of y. So if we consider this distance of elemental strip as b1, then by the properties of similar triangles we get b1 by b is equal to h minus y by h. That is, by these bases, because the elemental strip is parallel to the base, they form the similar triangles. Therefore, the base of this small triangle by actual triangle b1 by b is equal to this height h minus y by h. Therefore, we can say b1, the width of the strip, is equal to b into h minus y by h. Or if we divide by h, it will become b into 1 minus y by h. b into 1 minus y by h into. So total area of the strip is b into small b into dy. Therefore, b1 into dy. Therefore, we can say instead of b1 we can write b into 1 minus y by h into dy. Therefore, the moment of area will be equal to dA into y. That is, b into 1 minus y by h into dy into y. But area of the triangle is bh by 2. By solving the equation, we are not solving it in a thing, because we can do it. Y is equal to sigma dA by dA. That is, y is equal to integration of b into 1 minus y by h dy into y by area. So integration of this will give you integration of b into y minus y square by h into gives you b is equal to b into y square by 2 minus y cube by 3h. Since limits are from h to 0 to h or h to 0, then it will become b into h square by 2 minus h cube by 3h. That is, y is equal to h by 3. That is how we can solve this to find the height of the centroidal from h3. Since it is on the x side there is no base, it is difficult to find the centroidal distance of x. We have to either divide this into two parts and make it and then join. That we will do in the next chapter, because we do not know how to find out the centroidal distance of two parts. So after taking some numerical example, how to find the centroid of any shape, we will know how to find out the centroid of any shape. Then we can find out the x bar of this triangle whose base is not parallel. If it would have been right angled triangle, then the distance of centroidal is b by 3 and h by 3. But this triangle is not a right angle triangle. Since its base is not parallel to y axis, we cannot find the moment. That is why we have to divide with some vertical line, and we can make two triangles, two right angle triangles, and we can find out the x bar or x, the centroidal distance in x direction. But it can be done like that. So by integrating this, we can find out the centroidal distance in y direction is h by 3. Suppose if we suppose that it was an equilateral triangle, this triangle is equilateral triangle, then this vertical from the apex, if we drop a vertical, it will divide this into two parts. Therefore, the x would be, that line would be symmetrically dividing the triangle into two equal halves. Then x would be b by 2. So if it was an equilateral triangle, then the centroidal distance will be x is equal to b by 2, y is equal to h by 3. Now let us consider a small example of an angle. That is, here we are seeing an angle. You might have come across the angle. That is, whenever we see some steel structure, generally on our gates, on our tables, we use the angles. That is a L-shaped. If we see from front view, that will be L-shaped. In 3 dimension, it will have some length. So we can see only the L-shaped end. The end will be L-shaped. So in 3 dimension, if you see, it will prolong from here to here, some length, some unknown length, whatever length it may be. So for finding out the centroid of this figure, that is L, we know what is x and y, that is x bar or y bar. Generally we call it as x bar and y bar, or sometimes they call it as capital X and capital Y for centroidal distances. So if x bar and y bar are the centroid of this figure, our aim is to find where the centroid lies, to locate its centroid. So here we have two legs of this angle, that is a vertical leg and a horizontal leg. The vertical overall height is 200 mm and overall length is 240 mm. The thickness of one leg is 30, another leg is 20. Generally, for the sake of our problem, we have taken these thicknesses of legs. But generally, in market we may not find such standard angles. But for the sake of our problem, for sake of finding, suppose if there is some angle like this, what would be the centroid of that angle? Here we proceed like this. The figure can be divided into two rectangles, that is horizontal rectangle of 240 into 20. We have divided that into two rectangles. That is, we divided from horizontally. Here we have cut this figure into two parts. That is, the first part is having dimensions of 180 by 200, because in entire 200 this 20 part is removed. Therefore, the length will be, we will be left with only 180 into 30. That part will have the size of 180 into 30. Another part, the part 2, will have 240 into 20. These are the dimensions of the individual components. We know that to find the center of gravity of entire body, we will find the center of areas of those individual bodies or individual components. Therefore, we have this entire angle is divided into two rectangles. That is, one rectangle is 30 into 180, the other is 240 into 30. Therefore, the horizontal size is 240 into 20 and vertical rectangle is at 30 into 180. Here we have taken like this, that is, it is 30 into 180, this is 240 into 20, the first rectangle. We know that since they are rectangles, we have shown that the centroid of a rectangle is b by 2 and d by 2. Therefore, centroid of this rectangle will be in horizontal direction. The total length is 30. Therefore, the centroid will lie at 15. Similarly, the total height is 180. So it will half of this 180 is 90. So for this rectangle, the centroid lies at 15 and 90 because the total length is 30, total height is 180. So 30 by 2 is 15 and 180 by 2 is 90. Similarly, for this horizontal rectangle, the total distance is 240. So half of it is b by 2 is 120. Similarly, d is 20. Therefore, we have taken 20 by 2 as 10. So these are the centroidal distances of individual components. But we have some problem. Since we take the origin as the reference point for moving towards x and towards y, we have to find the distances of these centroids with respect to the origin. In moments also, we have seen the moments are acting at their centers, but we are not taking the center of the length. We are taking the moment center from the reference axis. We have seen generally we have taken from the support A to the center of the UDL. We have not taken only center of the UDL. Suppose 2 meters length is the length. For 2 meters length we have put the UDL, but the center will be 1 meter, but the centroidal distance will not be 1 meter. We have to take from the reference point. So the distance between the start of the UDL, that is some distance d plus this d by 2 or d1 by 2. So the total distance will be the part from where the UDL has started plus half of the length of the UDL. That we have done. You might have remembered. So now, if we want to reach the center of this top rectangle, half of the top of the rectangle, the half of the top of the rectangle is 90, but 90 is from the above the horizontal rectangle. So if we start from the bottom, we have to cross 20 and then half of this, that is 20 plus 180 by 2. The height of the centroid in y direction of the first figure will be 20 because we are taking the reference as the origin. That is, we have to take the y distances from the x-axis, not from top of the second rectangle, that is horizontal rectangle. The vertical rectangle is lying above the horizontal rectangle. It is placed above the horizontal rectangle. So if we want to reach the half of it, first we have to cross the horizontal rectangle and then we have to reach the half of the vertical rectangle. Then only we will reach the y bar of the first rectangle. Let us see here. So the area of this first rectangle is 240 into 20. 240 into 20 we have taken in this figure. Actually it is 240 into 20. We have taken only half of it, that is 120 and 10. 240 into 20. X bar is 240 by 2, that is 120, and y bar is 20 by 2, 10. Here we have got x bar, that is x of that individual part, that is the first rectangle. We are taking x is 120, y is 10. This is only for the rectangles, because we know those rectangles are symmetrical. We know centroids of the rectangles, not the entire figure. Our aim is to find the centroid of the entire figure. So by knowing the centroids of the individual parts, we are arriving at the centroid of entire figure. That is our aim. After all, we do not know only one one term, that is the x or y. That is why we are finding x is equal to sigma ax by sigma a, because we know the area of the individual part, we know the centroidal distance of that individual part, and total area of the figure. That is why we have found out the total area of the figure, and also the area of the individual part, and x bar of the individual part, x, that is 120, y is 10. Therefore, moment of area of this area is about the x is a into x, that is 240 into 120, that is 4800, 4800 into 120 will give you 576,000. Similarly, a into y, here it is a into y, that is 480 into 10, 4800. 240 into 20 is 4800, into 10 is 48,000. So there was no problem with the first one, because it is on the first horizontal figure is uh, touching the both x-axis and y-axis. But the vertical rectangle, it is away from x-axis at a distance of 20. Therefore, while calculating the y bar, y of the individual figure, we have to take it from origin. Therefore, we have to add the height of the horizontal rectangle. That is why when we come to x bar, from here the origin, from here the, if it is origin, here to here its center, that is it is 30 by 2, it will be 15. So x bar is 15, there is no problem. But when it comes to y bar is at this half of this figure, that is 90 of the rectangle, but there is another 120 distance, so that it is the total distance of centroid of vertical rectangle from the x-axis or origin is 20 plus 180 by 2. That is why here for centroid in y direction, we are getting 20 plus 180 by 2, that is 110. It is not at 90, it is 20 plus 90, 110. That we have to remember. So many students commit mistakes when they calculate the distance of a component which is above some component or after the another component. So simply they will find the centroid of that component, but we are not only interested in finding the centroid of that component, we are interested in finding the centroid of the component from x-axis or y-axis. That is why we have to add the other component's distance plus half of the components of second component. So first component distance plus half of the second component distance. Then only we will arrive at the center of the centroidal distance from the given reference axis, whether it is x-axis or y-axis. So in this case, to go to the center of the first rectangle, that is vertical rectangle, we have to cross this 20, and then we have to arrive at the center of this 180 by 2. Therefore, we are 20 plus 180 by 2. That is why we have written here as 20 plus 180 by 2. This is how we calculate. Then this is 110. This is 120. 120 in the horizontal direction for the first rectangle. The x bar is 120 by 2, y bar is 20 by 2. For the second rectangle, because it's one of the sides is touching the origin or y-axis. So x distance is 30 by 2, because we are starting from y-axis. But when we go up, that is for finding y bar of the first figure, then the problem is come. That is, we have to take into consideration of this distance 20. That is, we cannot directly say the y bar of the first figure is 180 by 2. It is 180 by 2 plus this 20. Therefore, the equation will be 30 into 20 into 240 into 20 is area, that is 4800. 4800 into 120 is 576,000. Similarly, 4800 into 10 is 48,000. Similarly, it is 5400 into 15. 5400 into 15 is 81,000. Similarly, 5400 into 110 is 594,000. So, if we sum the total area of this figure is area of these two rectangles. So, it is 180 into 30 plus 240, that is 4800 plus 5400, that is 1 or 200. This is 4800, that is 24 into 2 48 hundreds, 30 18 3 is 5400 into 5400. 5400 plus 4800 is 1 or 200. Similarly, if we add this sigma ax1 and ax2, that is sigma ax is total moment of areas of in the x direction. So in the x direction we have got moment of areas of 576,000 and 81,000. So 576 plus 81 is 657,000. Similarly here it is 594,000 plus 48,000. So 594 plus 48 is 642,000. So sigma ax is 657,000. Sigma ay is 642,000. Sigma a is 10,200. So we know sigma ax, sigma ay and sigma a. Therefore, we can find out x is equal to sigma ax by sigma a, that is 657,000 by 10,200. So if we divide 657,000 by 1 or 2,000, 1 or 200, we will get 82.06 mm. Similarly, y is equal to sigma ay by sigma a, that is 642,000 by 10,200, that is 62.94. Therefore, we will get x and y is equal to 64.4 62.41 64.41. It should be 64.41. 64.41 and the y is 62.94. These are the centroids of this figure. So here we can see this centroid is lying. We are measuring centroid is, remember, we are measuring from the left bottom corner, or we are taking it as origin. So from centroidal distance is distance from any reference point. Here our reference point is origin. So from here, if we take x bar from here to here, from origin to this distance is 64.41. In the vertical direction it is 62.94 from the origin. So we are getting the centroidal distance as 64.41 and 62.94. One thing we have to understand that the centroid is not on the figure. It is outside the figure. The centroidal distance is outside the figure. So like we have done earlier, we cannot balance an angle putting your finger at any point on the angle. If you take any piece of angle, we cannot balance it like this, because this calculator is having x bar and y bar at d by 2 and b by 2. So I know where is the centroid. I can balance this. But for an angle, we cannot do this, because its centroid is lying outside the body. Centroid is not on the body. So this whole area is concentrated at some distance which is outside the body. It is not within 240 or 200 or 30 and 20. This within these arms, legs. So this is, it is not on the vertical leg, it is not on the horizontal leg, it is somewhere in between, in the area which is outside these legs, that we have to take the note of this. Once again, let me quickly uh, explain this problem. That is, this problem is about finding the centroid of an unsymmetrical L angle or angle. That is, these legs are not equal, unequal legs are there. That is, one leg is 200, the vertical leg is 200 height, and having a thickness of 30 mm. The horizontal leg is having 240 mm length and 20 mm height. Therefore, our aim is to find the centroid. For this, we know the Vernon's theorem, that if we know the areas and centroidal distances of individual parts, that is a1x1 plus a2x2, then if you know the entire area A, then x bar is equal to a1x1 plus a2x2, or sigma ax by sigma a. In this case, a1x1 plus a2x2 by a, and y bar is equal to a1y1 plus a2y2 by a. We know total area is, if we divide this into two rectangles, this entire 200 will become 20 will be removed from this side, so we will be left with 180. So we have two rectangles of 240 into 20 and 180 into 30. So 240 into 20 and 180 into 30. 30 into 180. Purposefully, I have written this as 30 into 180 because I am taking horizontal first and vertical as a second digit, second dimension. Therefore, horizontal dimension is 240, vertical is 20. Similarly, horizontal is 30, vertical is 180. Therefore, we know that for individual rectangles, we have the centroids lie on their centers. That is, if the rectangle size is 180 by 30, the centroid lies at, in x direction it is 15, in y direction it is 90. For first rectangle, the x is 120, therefore 240, therefore x bar, its centroid lies at 120 in horizontal direction. Since it is 10, therefore half of it is 15 in the 10 in the vertical direction. This is, the size is 240 by 120. So 240 by 2 is 120. 20 by 10 is 20 by 2 is 10. So we are getting the centroidal distance of individual bodies, individual components as 120 and 10, and similarly here 15 and 90. So I have tabulated the column. It can be done. Many teachers, they simply find out a1 x1 and a2 x2, then they simply add a1 x1 by a and y bar for y, getting y bar a1 y1 by a. But instead of that, if we tabulate the values, it will be easier to understand and we don't miss anything. So initially, for practicing, you make a tabular column, tabular tables, tabular form, so that we can put the values and we can observe those values. Here, that is why I have taken figure 1 and 2. We have two figures, that is two parts. This is one figure and two figure. Having, first figure is having 240 into 20 size. The second figure is having 180 into 30. We have taken it. So x bar is, you should, again I am reminding, we are taking the x bar and y bar of individual components with respect to some fixed reference. That is our, I am taking it as origin. You can take anywhere, but generally as per my convenience, I take it as the origin as the point where we have to find the x bar and y bar. That is the bottom left corner I take as origin. Some teachers, they teach from the top left corner, and the distance can be measured from anywhere. Suppose if I say this is my finger is at a distance of something from this end, something from this end, something from this end, something. So it can be expressed in any way. The distance is measured from any reference point. But here I am taking my reference point as the origin, that is left bottom corner. I take it as origin. So we have found out the area. Area is 240 into 20, that is 4800. Here the area of the second figure is 30 into 180, that is 5400. Then x bar of the first figure 240 by 2, that is it is lying on the x-axis, so it is abutting the y-axis, so there is the distances from y-axis is 240 by 2. Similarly, from x-axis, it is lying on the x-axis, the distance is 20 by 2, 10. The second figure is in the x direction, it is abutting the y-axis. So the centroid will be in the x direction is 30 by 2. But the y, while calculating the y, we have to be careful, because it is not, the second figure is not lying on x-axis. It is 20 mm away from the x-axis. So the centroidal distance is half plus 20. That is why we have taken here 20 plus, that is the height of the first component plus the half of the distance of the second component. That is 20 plus 80 by 2. That is 180. Therefore, we got sigma AX. That is AX is moment of area of the first figure in x direction. Moment of area of the second figure in the x direction is 81,000. Moment of area of this figure, that is 4800 into 120, we got 576,000. Similarly, 4800 into 10, we got 48,000. That is in x direction. In y direction, we have found the moment of area of the first figure. Similarly, for the second figure, moment of area is 5400. The distance in x direction is 15. 5400 into 15, we got 81,000. Similarly, 5400 into 110, we got 594,000. These are AX1 and AX2, that is first area of moment of area of the first figure, moment of area of the second figure. Therefore, if we sum them, we will get sigma AX. That is AX are summed. That moment of areas in x directions are sigma AX is 657,000. Similarly, sigma AY is 642,000. Therefore, our formula says x bar is equal to sigma AX by sigma A. That is 657,000 by 1/200. We get 657,000 by 1/200. We get 64.41. Similarly, this 642,000 divided by 1/200 will give you 62.94. This is how we find the centroid. That is, when we want to find any centroid of any component, suppose having some regular shape, irregular shape, it is we cannot do normally. So for regular shapes whose centroids we know, like triangle, we have seen, we have derived that if it is a right angle triangle, the centroid lies at b by 3 and h by 3, that are 1/3 of the base and 1/3 of the height. Similarly, for rectangle, we have seen it is b by 2 and d by 2, that are half of the base and half of the depth. So we know the result. So with those result, suppose if you think a circle is symmetric in both both y-axis and x-axis. That is, one horizontal diameter divides circle into two semicircles. Also, vertical diameter passing through the center divides the circle into two halves. So we know that at the center of the circle lies at d by 2 and d by 2. That is, in x direction it is d by 2, half of the diameter. In y direction it is half of the diameter. For symmetrical figures, we know that the centroid lies at the half of the centroid, the symmetrical axis, the axis which is dividing the body into two halves. So the x-axis, if you cut vertically through the center, the x-axis, the y-axis divides this circle into two halves. Therefore, in x direction that will be r d by 2. Similarly, in y direction it will be radius r diameter by 2. So the center of the circle lies at r and r are d by 2 and d by 2 from the origin. So similarly, for any symmetrical figure, let us consider an ellipse. An ellipse of major axis, let us say 40, and minor axis 20. Then the centroid will be 40 by 2 and 20 by 2, because ellipse is a symmetrical shape, symmetrical figure. Similarly, for any symmetrical figure, that is having, when we cut through some line, if that line divides into two equal parts, then that line is called the axis of symmetry. So any symmetrical figure have its centroid at the symmetrical axis which is dividing it. So if we consider human body, we can cut the human body vertically. So it is symmetrical about y-axis, but horizontally if we cut, we do not get the equal halves. Suppose if I cut through some axis, the upper body and the lower body are not symmetrical. But if we cut the human body into vertical direction, we get one ear this way, one ear that way, one eye this way, one hand and the other hand. They are symmetrical in one axis. So human body is symmetrical about one vertical axis. It is not symmetrical about horizontal axis. Many, not only human body, all the animals, by nature, they are symmetrical about one axis. If we cut lion, suppose if we cut some lion or any animal along vertically, we can divide them into equal halves. But other axes, they are not symmetrical. But some figures, they are symmetrical about both axes. The rectangles, the circles, ovals, all these figures are symmetrical figures about both the axes. So with this, I'll conclude this session. Thank you. I hope it is useful for you. Let us meet with some other examples in the next session. Till then, have a nice day. Thank you.